Yashodanandana Braja Janarana
Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana
Yashodanandana Braja Janarana
Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana
Natira
Yamuna Tiravanachari
Yamuna Tira
Yamuna Tiravanachari
Jai Radha Mata
Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari
Jai Radha
Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari
Pijana Baba
Jai Gopi Jana Vallabha Giridharadhari
Yashodanandana
Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana
Yashodanandana Brajajana
Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana
Natira
Yamuna Tiravanachari
Yamunatira
Yamuna Tiravanachari
Krishna Krishna Hare Rama Rama
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Rama Hare Rama Rama
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama Rama
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare
Govinda ki jai. Gaur Premanandi. Om Gana Nandana Shalakaya Jaksuramilitanyena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Chaitanya Manobhistam Sthapi Yena Bhutale Kadamaya Dadati Swapadam. Supposed to be someone requested answers and questions. Anybody have a question? Who's here? Someone else, someone else.
Hearing the mind.
No, you have to speak loud enough that I can hear you.
Because when we do our chanting, usually it is like we hear our mind, the thoughts keep on coming. So how should we transfer from hearing the mind to hearing the holy name?
Right. Prabhupada said things like ignore the mind. Someone asked him, Prabhupada, I always have trouble with my mind when I chant. Prabhupada kind of acted like sometimes devotees thought he didn't hear the question. So he repeated it a few times. He was kind of going like, what? Huh? Someone else said, Prabhupada, he has trouble with his mind when he chants. Prabhupada says, chant with your tongue and hear with your ear. What is the problem? What do you care about the mind? There's different things like chanting very loud. Chant louder than the mind. And to fill the mind. But that, I think everybody, Arjuna told Krishna that, it's very difficult to control the mind. Right? It seemed more easy to control the wind, which is Krishna said that's true. It's very difficult, but you can do it with right practice. So it depends a lot on what we do the rest of the time when we're not chanting. Those things, but like another Prabhupada one time, a servant, he sent him to buy something. So he went and he came back and Prabhupada said, how was your, he said, oh, it was terrible. I was so distracted and my mind was, Prabhupada said, did you get the eggplant? I said, yes, it's okay, good. As long as you keep going. But, if we really work at it, chanting in the association of reading more, fill the mind or something. Any other ideas? We don't have to translate. Maybe you didn't call for it. So that's just the standard question for everybody. And I was just listening to the beginning of Satchidananda Swami. He's got a seminar, Living Holy Name. So he's been working on these kind of answers. Didn't hear the whole. He's got 5 techniques. But the mechanical, we get stuck. This is the way I can. You have to really bang away at the mind. Read the prayers of the Acharyas about chanting. Pray. Bhaktivinoda prayed. Nama Paradaguchi Shudanamiru Vipapoloha Vidoye Sancha. When? Habe. When will that day be mine when I can chant Aparadaguchi? Offenses going down and Harinama Ruchi, the taste for the holy name going up. When will that day be mine? I know. It goes through so many things. Some of the verses are just like the Shikshastakam, but in Bengali, and then Abhinavadvipe Sudadunitate Puranichananda Pate Chahigaiya. So when will I, chant like a madman on the banks of the Ganga, Puranichananda? It's hankering for these kind of things. So, Tinibo Nutibo Harinama Namarasa Mate, Boy Baby Basa, Rasara Rasika, Chadana Paras, Kodibo Mujibe, Rasayani Bar, right? You understand my Bengal. I will beg, borrow, or steal to get the holy name. Associate with people who do have a taste for it. By being with them, I will get this. Abhay Nityananda, Mori Kodi Doya, Gadibe More, Vishya Ramaya. When will Nityananda's mercy come? When you get the mercy of Nityananda, we get out of Maya. And then Namira Hatete, Divyadikar, then we can enter into the marketplace of the holy name. The marketplace of the holy name is described in Nityananda's. He's selling it, selling the holy name. One song it says the price is faith, another one it says price is the 9 processes of bhakti. It says hurry up because Jagai and Madai are taking everything. They're plundering the market, and if you don't get there quick, it's going to be all gone. But another place says it's unlimited. It keeps increasing. But Chaitanya, so that it takes a long time. Prabhupada said it took him 30 years. He had a much better start. But that I shouldn't even talk. I just theoretical. Bhaktivinoda in the Harinam Chintamani says, if you lose your taste, then put a cloth over your head and go in the closet, chant really, plug your ears, chant really loud. And join lots of kirtan. Have more kirtan mela. Like when Satchidananda Swami first he started japa retreats. And he had a little kirtan in the evening. But then he started mixing up kirtan and japa. Then it turned out to be that gets more easy to get a taste for chanting, and then we have a taste for chanting, then it would be easy. We have love for Krishna. Because even the materialists, when they fall in love, the Beatles, I can't sleep at night. I call you. Do that constantly. So devotees, that's why we're chanting. We must have some love, but just keep chanting. Or ask somebody that you think has it. All right, another question? The mind is something like data, if it rings, it's very hard to ignore it. when I go for japa, I don't ring. Even if it's not ringing, you'll think, well, I should check something.
Messages, yeah.
Maybe something's happening in the world that's more important than we realize that. The goal is to die chanting, so if we're chanting, we achieve the goal, we're chanting. It's important. And it's difficult. Kirtan is easier because we have the support of many other people and music, and it's much easier to just, but even then, easy to back. Japa, we're on our own. Early morning is better, but whenever it is, time should be, I'm only going to chant. Right? You have a question? You had a question. Will you speak loudly? About what? Loyalty. Yeah.
If the master don't care him, bad behavior with dogs, still dog continues.
Yeah, dogs, that's why dogs are like that. Of course, sometimes they might. Generally, the dog, they can have to sleep outside, might get ignored, but they try to be loyal. And people sometimes do that. So it's a good quality, but for us, it's like, the chaste wife, that's loyalty. And there's many stories that we hear from the Vedas about the chaste women, how powerful they become. Like I said, Sita could have destroyed Ravana just by looking at him because of her chastity. She didn't want to do it. Hanuman said, I'll take you back to Ram. And she said, no, that won't look good. He's got to come himself. And then the one that stopped the sunrise. Husband was cursed to die at sunrise. She stopped the sunrise. Savitri, they tricked Yamaraj. Prabhupada gives many stories. So same thing with the spiritual master. When stays is loyal and doesn't go running around, then they can make progress because progress is Krishna likes to see that quality. And even people stay married, they stick to their job or whatever. It's a good quality. Kali Yuga, it's diminishing like every other good quality. People are not looking. So many. Like Gopal says, love at first sight and divorce at first flight. I don't know if you made that up. See, your stories from America, divorce at the wedding reception. It's a true story. Yeah. The man looks at another woman or something. The woman gets mad and start fighting. So, yeah, no tolerance, no patience. But then if somebody's loyal to a really bad master, there's some discrimination. Sometimes they have to give up. I suppose even some dogs are really bad. Janaka Pandit says, what we can learn from a dog is one of them is, and the dog can go without eating. They can go without eating very little, even for a few days. They sleep, they wake up really quick. Wake up from different animals. So like we saw yesterday, people admire that. So that dog is just a murti of a dog. But people come to hear that story. But most would think I'd like to have a dog that loved me so. Dogs are like that. If you ever, maybe you never had a dog. I had one. I got one when I was quite young, 6 years old, maybe puppy, and he grew very big. Collie dog, and so I brought him up. I fed him. So he was really attached. He was my friend. He used to come to school, and then they'd have to make me take him home. But and when the family we went on holiday, and he'd gone for like 2 or 3 weeks, and he'd stay with my grandmother. She said, when we got back, she said he's just in the basement, just crying all the time. She opened the door, and his dog would just jump up. So naturally, we like not easy to find people. Dogs are like that. We should be like that for Guru and devotees. Because we're not, we think, that education nowadays, everything is, you should be the master. But at the same time, they're only training people to be super. But you can control, we'll give you money, and then you're free, you can do whatever. Servant. Remote control. You just surrender to the company. Right? So read Srimad Bhagavatam. Chanting slokas, memorizing Bhagavad Gita slokas is a very good way to control the mind. Using to memorize things, the Krishna things, because we're remembering so many things, right? But if we're trying to remember Krishna, like depends on some people, musicians are always learning new melodies or something. And then their mind is filled up with learning slokas or pastime, different, depending on what kind of skill, new recipes, depending on what somebody does. Just heard one guy, he was a big businessman, he was the chief of the mafia in America. He quit, but he said, do what you do best and delegate the rest. That's my business advice. And that's what everybody, all these big successful people. Don't try to do all kinds of things you're not good at, because it's frustrating. So if someone's a cook, you don't want to say, no, you have to come and learn all the new harmonium melodies. But try to encourage them to learn new recipes. You remember Rohini? None of you know her. She's still in Vrindavan. She was a cook, but she was always reading the cookbook. It was phenomenal. She's reading that cookbook like for a few days, and then she'd cook something perfect. Even jalebis, I think they're quite difficult. The first time, she was absorbed. That way she could her mind wasn't. If she's chanting, she might be thinking of the cookbook. Okay, 'cause it's cooking. So that that's why devotees who have a similar service, book distributors like to associate with other book distributors. Mridanga players like to get with other Mridanga books and cooking class. One devotee in China, I just saw his report. He's a super excellent cook. He's French. And they go around, they give this cooking seminar, and they get like 50 people. Not, they were restaurant owners, all kinds of people. Some are coming for the third time. They have kirtan, everybody gets. And Jamuna has some cooking class. Some of those girls came from. In America, they made many devotees by cooking. Radhanath Swami used to. University. You know the story? At the university, there was one Roman Catholic priest. And he would, he's against other religions. So he was always saying false God. So Radhanath said he tried to tell him, believe God is all these things. So you're worshiping the false God. So they went. The class was popular. They went one night and the door was locked because this priest had convinced the university to not let them have Scott. They went and protested, and that was in '60. And the university let them do it again. So then the priest started coming to the class. He was taking notes so he could give proof that he's preaching false. But he liked all of them. So finally he asked for the recipe and all. Cooked for his students. And then he gradually became nice from eating all of it. Or probably ate other things. That way, in the universities, which you can kind of sneak in. And in Japan also. Religion, some people are, but in general, most people. You? Anything about scripture? How to. How to be happy. They say Buddha, somebody said, I want to be happy. They take away the I and take away the want. But for us, chant attentively, that's like the solution to everything. Then you say how to do that, and we see this all over the world. Mahatma Prabhu wrote a big article. You can think about something and so on, but until you finally say, I'm going to do it. And there's one woman, she came up with this 5-second rule. Get her name. She was successful, and then I don't know what happened. Her company fell apart or whatever. Husband, they were losing in debt. So many things going wrong. Said she got to the point that she didn't even want to get out of bed. And Then one day she just said, "All right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, get up." She did that. She just everything. She just did it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, do it before you think about all the reasons you can't do it. And then her husband tried it, and then she was thinking this is pretty crazy, so I don't want to tell anybody. Somehow she did a TED talk, and she got scared and didn't know what to talk about, so she just talked about that. Got really popular. Now she's like a millionaire, best-selling author, teaching this technique. And we all know, okay, you don't just say, okay, I'm going to do it right now, and then, if someone else doesn't come along and distract your mind, you can't do that. You're not qualified. And your mind attacks like anything. Except taking prasadam. Nobody has a problem. They never think, well, I shouldn't eat so much. Do it. But that's, just like getting up from Mangalarti. Get up. If you don't get up. But that means, get enough sleep. Fair. Chanting in the morning, if we didn't sleep enough, then if you're sleepy, it's very good.
What's the technique, Guru Maharaj? Just do it.
Yeah.
Let ladies-
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Don't hesitate. Subha says Shigram. Right? It's auspicious to it. That's what Sri Maharaj used to say to people. It's auspicious, do it. Don't wait.
Like Bharata Maharaj,
Who?
Bharata Maharaj.
Yeah.
So he was like in Srimad Bhagavatam, it was saying she was so much attached to Krishna, and he didn't have even any material desire. But how it's possible she like become attached to this here? So if she doesn't have nothing like material.
It wasn't material desire, it's compassion. But also he didn't really fall down. Fast time. That's what it says in the Bhagavatam. He was just showing the dangers. It's like Shiva chasing Mohini Murti. Because that's Krishna, he wasn't attracted to a mundane woman, not to the form of the woman. It's just a show. He ran through all the sages and rishis to show them that even you're worshiping Shiva, but even he can be. Or shouldn't think that, because the next life he was a deer with full consciousness, and then he consciously, in the next life he was fully conscious as Shiva, not to get the whole Leela. We shouldn't think, yeah, I'm like that also.
So what about us? Because like about myself, we have so much desire, even we don't know. Right?
Well, don't act on them. Desires are, that's, the soul's only function is desire. We can't do anything. We just desire and then Krishna arranges. We don't have the power to, create whatever we want to manipulate in the material world, to even move. But we have desires, and then Krishna arranges. So we have to try to develop the whole process of yoga is to change the desires from material desires to spiritual. So, we get them, okay, I want to eat only prasadam. That's pretty good. I want to chant, I want to do something, I want to distribute book, I want to serve Krishna in some way, I want to clean the temple, whatever it is. I want to carry the bag or whatever. Then gradually we have desires that are spiritual. The material desires are still going to come and go, but we let them go. No, reject it. Pick out the good ones. That's by association and by hearing and chanting properly from the Bhagavatam. Then we get some discrimination what to do and what's good, what's not. Otherwise, in the mode of ignorance, what is it? Sanskrit. Don't know what to do and they don't know what not to do. Demons. They don't know what they should do and they don't know what they shouldn't do. So we learn. We learn from the Guru, we learn from the scripture what you should do. You should be chanting all the time, but somehow 9 processes, do something of one of them. And like material desire is a touchy thing, say we do have to have new clothes sometimes. To get some shampoo or something. But for Krishna, not that we just have 50 pairs of shoes. Nowadays they tell you should have many eyeglasses. Not just, it's not for just vision. Some people have them just for, they don't even have any prescription, just because it's fashionable. Everything. Right? So Maya is really trying hard. We still have to have things. Eat. So those are material things. But that's the mercy of the Bhakti Yoga. That, in really, like we read about the brahmachari and vanaprastha. You don't have a house. You don't have anything. You just have to sit there and then whatever comes your way. No food comes. If the bugs are biting you, if the snakes are going all around you, well, just live with it. Not so many people can do that. Even ever, not very many. With Bhakti Yoga, but we have to be careful, that we're really using things for Krishna. Need a car, mostly. Anything. We don't need 3 cars. Don't need a Krishna. But then we can engage people that, like if you go to the Rath Yatra in Durban, when they bring the deities, and there's 3 carts, and Lord Jagannath comes in a big Mercedes, Subhadra comes in BMW. The devotees have their big car, but they can at least once a year or something use it for Krishna. Because the family, mother, father, son, daughter, they all have one. All brand new. But they're devotees. But they have that karma. But you can use it for Krishna. Drive other devotees around and market, But we don't need so many things. I can hear, but I don't know if the microphone can hear.
So I just wanted to ask you, like, there are so many desires we have. Like, for example, I have kids. I have to think about them growing up, sending them to good college, and I mean, giving them proper education. So all these are ultimately leading to so much engagements that ultimately I start thinking whether this desire to give them a good future is correct on my part or not. So it builds me a lot of times, like which desire is more material or which desire is spiritual. So it's very confusing.
Well, as long as you also have the desire that they are educated in Krishna consciousness. And why you have the desire, is it for their benefit or for your prestige? You know, there's right? And I said, I was at my sister's house a few years ago. The teacher called, said, your son's not doing his homework. It's a long story. The son was like some kind of genius. And, but then the second son had she had to spend a lot of time with him. So the big one wanted attention, so he didn't do his homework. And then the school would call, what kind of mother are you? What kind of whore are you? You know, your child's not doing his homework. Yours must be a really bad mother. And then she'd just go right in all night with this, you know, you better do your homework. The boys like, now I got my mother's attention. I told her, you know, are you worried about him or you? You know, you're worried about your own reputation or you're worried about your son's welfare. So it's a delicate thing. Because naturally we're concerned both, but you also have to be aware of what the children want. But naturally, that's part of your responsibility as a parent, to raise your children. But you want to try your best to provide spiritual education. Is that all right? Like in Chopati, when they preach in university, they don't tell people. They make sure they finish education, or they can. They live there. Some live there and go to school, but they're not committed to be brahmacharis. That's for many reasons. Because sometimes after a while they want to get married or something, so then they get a job. But also the parents feel okay, he's got his degree, so let him be a brahmachari for a little while. Prabhupada also, I mean, so many of the devotees in the beginning were dropouts, but they dropped out before they ever met. If somebody was in school, Prabhupada told me, Rabindra Swarup was temple president. He was in the process of a PhD. He asked Prabhupada, Prabhupada said, anyone can be temple president, get the PhD. But not everybody can do that. He managed to do both. So the material, it's like, it's not the activity that's material or spiritual. Chanting can be material. You know, I don't know how many people chant Hare Krishna, you know, and praying, give me, but some do. You get questions like that. Well, I've been a devotee and I've been praying for so long to get a better job, but it's not happening. Why doesn't Krishna answer me? So we never know. Someone can be, leading kirtan just for prestige and honor, not giving class, doing anything. Being a brahmachari and being proud, superior, is not really brahmachari. So it's the mentality of, it's not the activity exactly that material is. That's what that, remember I just gave you that thing from Bhaktivinoda?
Yeah.
Saying that it's your motivation that, makes something Vaidhi Bhakti or Raganuga Bhakti or something. Not the activity is same. People get mixed up and they think, well, Raganuga is another activity. Like we read that the Brajbasis, they didn't have regulated principle. So I remember one devotee in Hawaii said, so, it's all right not to, not follow the four regulated principles. But it's not talking about the four regulated principles. It's talking about they didn't have to get up to Mangal Arati and chant 16 rounds. They were always engaged in serving Krishna and chanting Krishna 24 hours, talking about Krishna and waiting for Krishna. They didn't have to do that kind of regulated principle. And they never heard of intoxication or mediating. Said anything. That's what we're trying to, to please Krishna. Then we can say, well, how do I know if I'm pleasing Krishna? So just don't get, overly absorbed that you don't chant and you forget Krishna in order to fulfill this. Because it's more important, for children, if you give them quality time, then you just provide them, with a ladder to the heavenly planets. Isn't it? Whatever. In Japan, they say that fathers spend the least time with their son. In America, for the rich kids, the main cause of death for teenagers is suicide. Sit in their Mercedes Benz and put a hose in the hospital. Father gave him a car and never talked to him. Too busy working. Sometimes wife, same thing. Money. They think I'm just giving money. I'm giving you so much, big house, things that they want something else. Ambarish said, poor people like to think that money can't buy happiness. Rich people know. He said he got spiritually inspired by his mother because she was so unhappy person. She's one of the richest women in the world. Ford, granddaughter, the only granddaughter of Henry Ford. And materially, couldn't even think of more things, but she was never happy. So he got inspired for spiritual. But we have to provide. Provide both.
Maharaj, on a question from Ananda Kirtan.
Oh, really? She's
Yeah.
online?
No, she's so like I will recording for her.
Oh.
And if we have fever, here,
We have what?
fear, and
Fear.
Hawaii. fear of death.
Yeah.
How to yeah, yeah.
Fear of death. Well, I think that's one of the 5 things Brahma created first, so that the material world would function. Is the fear of death. It's because we think we're the body. We don't, so everybody's, this devotee theoretically is not afraid of death. Still, if we're threatened, we might try to avoid it. But chant the holy name and read the Bhagavad Gita. You're not the body, and soul is eternal. And when Jamuna's father was dying, she went and she was wondering what to say. I said, just talk to him about the soul and the soul. And then they did that, and he was happy. They liked the chanting. Madhu had nothing to do, so he just chanted on. And all the Buddhist friends, and he died peaceful. Anybody not afraid of death? You know that prayer, Krishna Tvadiya Pada Pankaj Panjanantam Adhyaiva Me Visatu Rajahansam Kando. Always more. Anyway, it says, let the swan in my mind and be absorbed in Krishna. When Prabhupada, he would always say, let me die now while I'm chanting, while I have the ability to chant, because I don't know what will happen later. I might choke up. I won't be able to. Let me die now. But he didn't mean like suicidal, but let me die in this consciousness. He'd take it suicidal. Die now in this consciousness that I can chant. So we want to stay in the association of devotees as they're chanting and they're in classes or whatever, trying to help us.
Fear is also about the pain associated with death.
What?
The pain associated with death. So the fear is also about the pain associated with death.
Maybe. But fear may be something else.
Can be from previous life also, fear of death.
Yeah.
Like if it's
Because we had it maybe fearful of death the last life. But it's also, we don't know what's next.
So fear of unknown.
And the mind is so crazy, I won't even tell you all the different fears. The devotees go like this. My sister, Parvati, who just left, she had 4-stage pancreatic cancer. Came really quick. I'd never heard that she had. She had a lot of other things. She had like a tumor and almost died. Many different problems, but she never showed it. She was always like really energetic. And she was in the hospital and she didn't have any pain. She was cheerful. The doctors couldn't believe it because that's very painful. So most that I've heard of devotees, I don't know how they were thinking before, but when they come actually close to the time of death, they're not too. Krishna just helps. I've heard of many.
yeah, I also have this experience. My friend, when she was young, she said like just like night before she was passed away. I asked, "You feeling pain or fear?" She said, "No, I'm now very like light in Vrindavan."
Yeah.
The next day, like noontime, she. But before this, she was cancer and very like strong pain, everything did many. But this moment when the I said, "Oh, like already this," she was like no pain, no scare, no fear.
Yeah. But fear of death, I think, mostly is, some people are afraid and I finished my business or my children, what is going to happen to them, afraid to die. But life goes on. Abhaya Charna would be supposed to be fearless at the lotus feet of Krishna. But we should fear Maya. So if you're afraid of death, then prepare for it, which I'm sure she is. But if we start thinking about it, probably be true. I told the other day I was here when I was probably elementary school time. Actually, I can remember the corner, and this older boy was telling me about how people die and they sleep all the time. And I couldn't sleep. I was so afraid to go to sleep because I thought I would die. And we had this prayer they gave us, before you go to sleep. I can't remember it, but if I die before I wake, I pray you, Lord, my soul to take. Like you have to think about I might die while I'm sleeping. That was the prayer for little kids. We had another part too that was more fun. If you're alive. But that, in one sense, that's a good idea. That because sleep is dangerous. But if you were to die and you're a devotee, Krishna will make you remember him. So the Arctic is now pretty quiet back there. Behind closed doors. Some temples they have a curtain, so they don't always have to close those big heavy doors. Just pull the curtain. Many
Figure
temples.
out, but
There's no place to put it. Unless it was outside. And it's not a big deal. Okay? Hare Krishna. So we had Ganga and Jamuna. Ganga and Jamuna. Ganga, you haven't told us yet, if you're feeling good. Give me a call.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj.
Okay. You want to see the deities?
Ganga Haribol.
Hare Krishna, thank you very much. Darsha, thank you. Thank you very much. Very beautiful deities. Thank you very much, Achyuta Gopi Mataji.
Haribol, Ganga.
Haribol. Thank you very much, Guru Maharaj.